it starts with the lengthy blockade that Egypt and Israel imposed on the Gaza Strip and restricting goods and services that had previously gone into the Gaza.
You disagree with that assessment. Tell me why.
Well, I want to put it in a broader historical context and explain why there's a blockade of Gaza. Hamas took over Gaza after the Israelis withdrew every soldier, every citizen, every grave. And Hamas had an opportunity to build a decent society. It was a bitter Palestinian civil war where they actually killed and threw Palestinians off rooftops and shot them in the knees. Hamas takes over, and Hamas then begins to use the borders to bring in weapons and brings in concrete that you would hope they'd use to build hospitals and schools like any governing authority would. Instead, they build terror tunnels. They used to move weapons and fighters into Israel. And so this is why Egypt and Israel imposed the blockade. But Hamas was founded in the 1980s, and its founding charter explicitly calls for the extermination of Israel. And I can tell you, I lived there in the 1980s, the 1990s. I remember Hamas suicide bombings, where Hamas terrorists strapped suicide belts and walked into schools and cafes and discos and slaughtered Israeli children. So Hamas slaughtering Israeli children and women is not a new phenomenon, and it has nothing to do with the blockade. It has everything to do with Hamas's founding ideology, and it's been 35 years of slaughter of Jews that Hamas has undertaken.